Come to Legion's Room. So I am Shongita Shahai, again back with a new video. In today's section, we'll be dealing with Visva-Bharati University syllabus. So till now, I have completed Visva-Bharati University paper 4 syllabus. Okay. To this section, we'll be dealing with paper 5. Okay. So paper 5 headline says, just wait. So headline says American literature. Okay. So the course is designed to accommodate milestones in the literary map of America from its inception to the present in the areas of poetry, prose, fiction, drama alike. So the course have been given to you like that paper, American literature have been given to you so that you would be having the full details regarding American poetry, prose, fiction, drama from the inception to the present. Okay, like from the beginning to till now, American literature. What is American literature? Be it American poetry, prose, drama, you are supposed to get full idea. The selection is aimed to provide base for demonstrating the broad historical trends that representation American culture in its literary works. The selective text which are being chosen, these are chosen very much meticulously so that you would be given a representative text, a text which will represent the very culture. Okay, so learning outcome, the course will have acquainted the student with landmark text across the gamut of American literature and help them locate in this text key moments in American journey of becoming a nation. This text are supposed to give you kind of knowledge regarding American literature, and you are supposed to know the key moment of American literature through this text. Okay, what are the text? The text of Tennessee William Glass Menagerie. So this is one thing. So Tennessee William is one of the most famous American playwright, along with 3 American playwrights are most known. These 3 are Agatha Neal, Arthur Miller, and Tennessee William. Okay, so Tennessee Williams' Glass Menagerie is one of the most well-known, along with his street car named Desire. Okay, then Toni Morrison, beloved. Toni Morrison, another American most famous author, novelist, short story writer, essayist. So Toni Morrison, beloved, is well known. So Toni Morrison is well known figure. She had won a Nobel Prize, and her writings are well known for so many reasons. Okay, so her culture reflects in her writing so much well that she can be said one of the writer. Without reading her, you can understand the American culture. Okay, then Edgar Allan Poe Parliament letter. So Edgar Allan Poe is someone who is like who had initiated or given the very place which is now occupying the detective genre. Okay, his short stories are detective short stories, and this is what he had done. And one of the most famous is that Parliament letter, or the whole story is regarding that Parliament letter. Okay, we'll deal with this and that whole thing. Then there's Scott Fitzgerald Cracker. So Fitzgerald is another most famous American author, novelist. So he had written so many things. Okay, 4 novel, 4 short story collection, and 164 short stories he had written. Okay, if Scott Fitzgerald, one of the most famous short story among this 164 is The Cracker. Then William Faulkner, Dry September. William Faulkner is another American poet, novelist, short story writer. He had won Nobel Prize, and his Dry September, one of the most famous short story. I myself had written a poetry on the Dry September. Is too available in Amazon. You should go to Google, or you may go to Amazon and search Dry September. Again, Seeking the Truth. It's written by me. It's available there. Then there's Annie Burstead prologue. Annie Burstead is most famous American feminist author. So her prologue. Then Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass is a poetry collection. Walt Whitman, another nationalist poet. His O Captain, My Captain. Then Passage to India is written by then Passage to India is written by M. Foster. Then there's let me just see it, just wait. Then there's Alexei Sharman, Alexei Crow Testament Evolution. We'll deal everything one separate video. I'll make on Tennessee William Glass miniature. Then one by one Toni Morrison and everything. Okay. So then you are supposed to know as a suggested reading American Dream. What is American Dream? Okay. This is what you are supposed to know, because that's the dream which does not want to acknowledge failure. Okay, although you haven't been given the text where American Dream has been depicted fully, that one is Arthur Miller Death of a Salesman, where everything is depicted. What is that American Dream? Okay, so American Dream is something, if I in a word if I say, so America was a nation at that time which was still struggling to deal with the evolving nature, and it had seen colonization and everything, but after facing everything it had the thought that now man should be supposed to be strong, successful. Okay, but that dream denied the possibility of that very human being to be fragile and having that failure. So it denied all the prospects of failure, which is quite probable to get, and that's the thing. But if we read it from the point of view of Marxism, then it says that American dream denied all the possibility of acknowledging that there's inequality. It accepts that if someone is getting success, it means that that person is doing hard work, while someone else is not getting because that person is not doing hard work. But that's not the truth. Okay, if you read through Marxism, then you find that everybody does not have that equal position, although they can put equal effort, but still they do not get the equal thing back, because that varies. So the Karl Marx had given an example, that take an example that there's a rule that you are supposed to have a house in order to have some legal rights, and the same thing, in order to have a house you are supposed to have certain other legal rights. So in this way, when you are wanting something, you are supposed to have another thing, but in that way some poor people do not have anything. Okay, so that dream is quite utopic in nature, because it's not seeing the reality, it's just seeing that everyone has the same potential or something like that. But the situation you have to put in mind to see that although everyone has the same legs and hands, but the situation is different, no? So this possibility had been underestimated, overlooked. That's why it's an American dream. Yeah, quite utopic in nature. Then there's social realism, American novel, folklore, American novel. So you are supposed to know social realism. So social realism is quite if like popular I can say. It has its own history. French is started through the hand of Emily Zola, 1840 approximately. And in American literature, Frank Norris is the name which we know regarding this realism. Realism means very similitude. Those things which we find in the reality, that's being depicted. When you are reading, you are finding as though you are seeing the reality. Okay, so that's the thing. Then black women's writing. So black women's writing, if I say, that's talking about that African American literature. Okay, so there you get Toni Morrison as you have been given. So when I teach, definitely I try to do intertextuality, so I always include um, Alice Walker, then this Sharul Pakri's Gilman, all those when I teach Toni Morrison, because these are also necessary. Then you are supposed to know question of form in American poetry, because you are reading Walt Whitman, you are reading uh, Oh Captain, My Captain, Leaves of Grass. So you are supposed to know this. So suggested reading section. What are the things? Let me see. Just wait. Suggested reading. There's like this one being given. What is America? What is an America? So this is being given to you as a suggested reading. So then you have been a narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. So it's written by Frederick Douglass himself. Then a Battle of the Ants, written by Henry David Thoreau. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Self-Reliance. Toni Morrison, Romancing the Shadow. So that's your American literature paper. So for today we'll deal just two paper 5, as we have completed, where we saw that this is about American literature. We started roughly from 1783 until now. There you got Tennessee William Glassman History, which is written in 1944. Toni Morrison Villeneuve at 1987. Edgar Allan Poe Parliament letters, similar. Okay, like Edgar Allan Poe's time period is 1850 to somewhere 19 something. Okay, Annie Bostwick Pollock 1850. Then Oh Captain, My Captain, Lips of Grass is 1855 or somewhere around this. And then there's the thing, as we have seen, suggested reading, everything will be dealing. So paper 6 says popular literature. This is very interesting. Okay, just let me take out a bit. So popular literature, the course is intended to help students develop a critical understanding of the different constituent categories of writing within the broad rubric of popular literature. So this course have been given to you so that you can critically understand different constituent categories of writing under broad categories. So different writing you will be knowing under broad category named as popular literature. Also learn to differentiate between popular literature and its alternative, canonical literature, using parameters theorized under suggested reading. So you are supposed to know the difference between popular literature and its alternative, canonical literature. As can be expected to have introduced undergraduate students to notable texts in popular literature from across expatriate subcontinental culture as well as from Britain. So you are supposed to know popular literature from subcontinental culture as well as from Britain, with special reference to children's literature, detective fiction, subaltern literature, mainstream fiction. So you are not only supposed to know popular literature from subcontinental culture, but you are supposed to know from Britain. You are supposed to know a special reference to children literature, detective fiction, subaltern literature, mainstream fiction. So let we see now what are the text you have been given. Lewis Carroll, Through the Looking Glass. Okay, Through the Looking Glass is one of the most famous writing by Lewis Carroll. We'll be doing. Then Agatha Christie, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. That will do. Then Sham Shalvadri, Funny Boy, will do. Then Durga Bhai, Bhayam and Subhash, Bhayam Bhayana Experiences of Untouchability, Autobiographical Notes on Ambedkar. Then suggested reading, you are supposed to know coming of age, canonical popular, gender and identity caste, ethics education in children's literature, sense nonsense graphic novel. Okay, then we are supposed to do the suggested reading too. Little Will I You Say, Sham Sharba the Funny Boy is a coming of age novel, and it's a novel which talks regarding so many issues regarding um, that gender question isn't it raises. And then there's this one like a looking glass, that's one of the most famous text and it's necessary to read in order to understand popular literature. Then other text, Experience of Untouchability, which is autobiographical notes on Ambedkar. So Ambedkar had written that text Untouchability. Ambedkar has written so many texts, caste in India, annihilation of caste, Buddha and his dharma. So one among his famous writing is this Untouchability. There we are getting notes by Durga Bai Bham and another person, which we will be dealing in detail. Now we are supposed to see such reading. Suggestive reading list is long. Dancing in the Rare Fate are reading contemporary Sri Lankan literature. Thus, we are supposed to know voices in South Asian writing. That's post-independence, which is the continuation of dancing in the Rare Fate are. Then you are supposed to know interaction in beyond appearances. We will be knowing towards a definition of popular literature, children's literature, theory and practice. We'll be knowing. As I already told that we'll be dealing that much only. Our topic is 5 and second paper only. Fifth paper we saw American literature, which was supposed to give you knowledge regarding American poetry, prose, drama from its initiation to the from its initial stage to the present now. And second and popular literature is our second paper, where it was supposed to give you knowledge regarding broad category of popular literature and what are the specific writings fall under it, and you are supposed to know the difference between popular literature and its alternative, sometimes known as canonical literature. That you got few texts as you got in American literature. We'll be making separate videos on dealing with every text and supposed questions and from every perspective. For the time being, subscribe the channel and you'll be definitely getting helped by this, and thank you for watching.